All right, Dracula, you doing good, bud? If you guys notice, we have a friend now. He was waiting outside the door while I filmed the other lessons, and Dracula decided to come hang with us for this one. Who knows how long he's going to be here. This time we're talking about, what are we talking about? The boxy notes. The reason why, you'll see in a second, when I pick up a bass, they kind of make like a big rectangle across 2 or 3 of your strings. In particular, the root, the 5th, the 7th, and sometimes the 9. And again, if you don't know music theory, you don't know what I'm talking about, it's okay. I'll give you a version that you'll be able to understand. Just like the last few lessons, let's take a listen, come up with your own bass line, then I'll show you what I did, and I'll explain, I'll tell you what's going on behind the hood. This behind the hood, under the hood, behind the scenes. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. This song's called My Favorite Place to Be. It's just some more production music that my friend Shim and I did together.
My woman got me on my knees again, yeah. Midnight boogie woogie, you know what I mean, baby. Drinking a lot, she said, baby, hit the spot. You know she's coming in hot. Now what's a man supposed to do? If I'm a boogie woogie, I'm a boogie woogie with you.
All right, so it's an easy chord progression, 2 chords the whole time. It's an E7 to an A7. See what you can come up with, and go ahead, press pause here, stay for as long as you'd like, and then come back. I'll show you what I played. So anyways, here's what I came up with.
My woman got me on my knees again, yeah. Midnight boogie woogie, you know what I mean, baby. Drinking a lot, she said, baby, hit the spot. You know she's coming in hot. Now what's a man supposed to do? If I'm a boogie woogie, I'm a boogie woogie with you.
Okay, so you can tell right away, this kind of music is my jam. I love 1960s soul, R&B, James Brown, anything that's along those lines. So the first thing I did, so that's the main groove. The first aspect of it is that it's very ba 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 ga ba 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 ba. I'm driving ahead, and if you listen to what the rest of the band is doing, listen to what the snare drum is doing. It's on all those quarter notes. Ga 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 ga. Chick-a-ding, chick-a-ding, ga. There's a lot of 16ths happening between like the tambourine. Chick-a-ding, ga, chick-a-ding, ga. Everyone is jamming on this tune. So I just wanted to lock in with that snare drum drive, number 1, fill in the space, but still have a pretty sick bass line. So if all I did was this, like that would be enough to drive the song, because I'm hitting those downbeats, I'm giving everyone space, but like there's no extra notes. So where are we going to get them? This is where I start talking about those boxy notes, the root, the 5th, and the 7th. So we're in an E7. My root is E, my 5th is B, my 7th is D, and those are the 3 notes I'm playing over the E7 chord. That's it. I'm going to do pretty much the same thing over the A chord. That was root, 5th, and 7th. And go into the octave, which is the root. We got some passing tones, right? The 3rd is a C, this note is a C sharp, which is the 3rd of an A chord, which is the one we're on. And I just slid it up, slid it up, slid it up. And then we're at the root. And you see, I could jam all day long on just those 3 notes, the root, the 5th, and the 7th. And you can see why I call them boxy, because they're all on an inlay, right? So it creates this like 2 frets apart, 1 or 2 strings. I'm playing like these big square or rectangle patterns. And that's why I call them the boxy notes, because might not make much sense if you're looking at a piano or a saxophone, but on the bass guitar or a guitar, violin, whatever it is, you'll see they look kind of squarish, boxy. Let me listen to it one more time with you and see if there's anything else that I can point out. But that whole entire groove is pretty much root, fifth, and seventh.
My woman got me on my knees again, yeah. Midnight boogie woogie, you know what I mean, baby.
Now, everything so far has pretty much been the same groove twice. So here's what's going through my head. Time number 1 and 2, identical. 3, step away. 4, come back. And then ramp it up with some sort of transition. Watch what happens. And now we're just back to playing it vanilla, the same way that I did it the first 2 times. Still keeping that bump, bump, bum from the 3rd time. A little different, slight variation, and now this should be pretty much the same. Only difference is instead of bump, 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 ba-da, putting that space, now I'm connecting those notes. Da, 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 da. It's the same chromatic walk as before, right? Every single time I've been doing this. That C sharp chromatic walk up, but there's always a space. But when I go to the chorus, right, I'm letting those notes ring out. All right, here's another example that utilizes this, again, these boxy movements. I want you to, just like the last time, play along with this, create your own bass line. Go ahead and film yourself. You can delete this stuff afterwards. I don't care, but I just want you to see where you started and then where you end up. So please don't skip this part. This is also, I'm not going to say a bit more advanced, but again, if you're more of a beginner, novice player, you might struggle with this, and that's okay. The only reason is because it's in a difficult key. We're in the key of D flat. Not common for most bass players. D flat or A flat? D flat. There's PDF files for everything here that's in a 5-string. I also have a version that you can play in 4. But don't look at the tabs yet. Go ahead, come up with your own ideas. Here we go. Go ahead and pause, come back to this whenever you're ready. Take your time, come up with something that you like, that you think is cool, and then come back here. I'll show you what I did. So the part that I came up with is very similar to what I was doing on the last example. Roots, fifths, sevenths, octaves. I'm really only going to add one more note that I think is really, really cool, and it's the 9 or the 9th. You can also call it the 2nd, but really it's an octave. I don't know. That's how jazzers refer to it. However you want to call it, that's a really cool tone to add to your chord. I'll explain in a second. Let's listen to my bass line first, and then I'll dissect it for you. The groove is, root 9, 5. This one's the biggest. Root 5, 9. I guess I'm not really hitting any 7s. Yeah, so in this particular groove, we're almost avoiding the 7s entirely, and it's really root 5, 9. And the reason why I particularly like this formula is because it's ambiguous. If I play, tell me, is that chord major or is that minor? It's neither. There's no 3rd. And so that's why this type of motion is cool, because you can use this exact line. Transpose it. I'm playing it higher because I'm on a 4-string. If I was on a 5, it would be more like this. Right? Root 5, 9, 5, root, or octave. There's no 3rd in there. So I could use that over a D flat major chord, a D flat minor chord, and then all the sevens, D flat major 7, D flat dominant 7, D flat minor 7, D flat minor 7, flat 5. Okay, flat 5, that's the only one I can't use it on because the 5 is different. But on all of those chords, and then all of the extensions and all the alterations and inversions of them, I can use this formula and it'll work. And that's essentially what I did. I took that and then I moved it to the A flat and then E flat. But instead of playing it high, I went low. Oh, there's a 7. Okay, so we finally did play a 7. And then a nice little walk up. So almost identical to the formula I was talking about before. When we got 4 times through, 1 and 2 are the same. Third's a little bit different. 4 is either the same or it's a walk around transition that takes us to the next part of the song or turns us around and brings us back to the beginning of the progression. So let me pull up the track, let me play the video again and we can hear exactly what I was just demoing in context. You hear what I'm talking about? Doom, ba-da-da-da-da. Chord changes. Da, ga-da-ga-da-da. Same thing, just from a different chord. Almost the same thing. Da, ba-da-ba-da-ba. Now I'm messing with the range. So the notes, instead of going higher, they go lower, but pretty much they're almost the same. And we added a 7th this time. And right there, nice little bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, ba-da-dum. Really bouncy, really playful, because the song's got a little bit of a shuffle to it. It's not dun dun ga dun 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 ga again. It's got that kind of flow to it. Right now, I'm just playing with ba-da-da, 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 ba-bum. A simple rhythmic figure. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 3 notes. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. I'll make sure I count it correctly. And yeah, I'm just working up or working down the scale, I suppose. Came right back to the groove, right? Like I was saying, that was the 3rd time through. We went off bass. 4th one, we came right back. Dum, ba-da-da-da-da. All right, so here's the takeaways for this lesson. Number 1, those boxy notes. I'm talking about, from the root, you can have the 5th, the 7th, the octave, the 9. They're hollow sounding, so it doesn't imply major or minor, not really. So they're pretty interchangeable. And the way the pattern lays out on your fingers is very nice. They're 1 fret in between all of them, just about. They'll probably all be on inlays or all right next to the inlays. Those are the dots that are on your neck. And also the patterns are comfortable for the way that the instrument is laid out. It's actually pretty decent. However, this is the part where you got to know a little bit of music theory because you have to mind your half steps. Depending on the key and depending on the chord, the 7th might be a half step away, not a whole step. The 9th might be a half step away, not a whole step. Just depends on the context. So if you play it and you use it incorrectly, everyone will know. Because if you play a major 7 when you're supposed to play a minor 7, nah, no bueno. And same thing with the 5th. Same thing with the octave. That one's pretty easy to find. The 9, very uncommon that you would have a flat one unless it's a dominant chord or, if it's from the 3rd. I mean, there's all sorts of rules that go along with this stuff. And again, music theory can help you navigate those waters. Or if you hear something that's wrong, try moving over a fret, one direction or the other. That will probably solve your problem. And then I just want to also reiterate the formula that I was talking about earlier, right? If you've got a 4-bar phrase or an 8-bar phrase, all you do is you section it off so that the first time, the second time, identical, pretty much. 3rd time, step away a little bit. 4th time, come back to your original idea and then wrap it up with some sort of turnaround, fill, lick, arpeggio, whatever you want to do that gets you back to where you started or transitions you to the next part of the song. So work on those bass lines, have fun with it, and we'll see you in the next one.